This is Alex Habersham, publisher of the new Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages and Resource Guide. The 2019-2020 edition is available in print and online. So you don't want to miss the opportunity to view this book. You can see it online at www.maconblackpages.com. And if you want a hard copy, call us at the office, 478-464-0074. The new Black Pages featuring young entrepreneurs and professionals. Get
www.makingblackpages.com.
Quite a few years ago, I met someone and I was pretty impressed with this person, and I wrote a poem called Phenomenal Lady. And that writing was motivated by several qualities and characteristics that this person had. And then when I got the opportunity to do this interview today, I thought about that poem.
All right.
Because I'm in the process of interviewing a phenomenal lady. And she's phenomenal because of a lot of attributes that she has. You know, she's an author, she's a motivational speaker, she's an educator, she's a talk show host, just an array of positive things that contribute to her qualifying to be called phenomenal. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and this phenomenal lady, though I didn't write the poem about her, but the description fits her very well, is none other than Dr. Jessica Houston. How you doing?
Hello, I am doing well.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm outstanding.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself personally before you got into all these phenomenal things.
Oh my goodness. So I'm so grateful to first of all be on your show. You are a pillar of our community, so it is an honor to be here today.
She just saying that because I call her phenomenal.
You really are. And so, yes, I did not start out this way. I actually grew up in poverty, and that's one of the things I talk about in my first book, Women's Secrets, It's Time to Stop Suffering in Silence. I grew up in poverty. I had very, very low self-confidence. I ended up in a physically abusive relationship, but I still managed, despite everything that I was up against, I still managed to finish high school with honors, graduate undergrad with honors, pursue my master's in social work degree, and then on to a PhD in education. So one of the things I like to share is that it really does not matter how you start out, it's all about how you finish. And so I believe in being a finisher.
Phenomenal finish.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about all the avenues that you've taken after having grown out of those problems that you had. How did you kind of start out?
So it really started with me getting that confidence built up, because that didn't start until actually I had my daughter. A lot of people don't realize that even though I had earned all of these degrees and I had a great job and a great career, I was still battling. I was still struggling with depression. I was still struggling with low self-confidence. But when I had my daughter, I realized that I didn't want her to come into what I had lived. And so I said, listen, you've got to really begin to learn to love yourself. And so once I started practicing that self-love and looking in the mirror and seeing that, hey, you are beautiful. And a lot of times, and I'm sure this discussion has happened a lot, but within the African American community, sometimes you have these names called to people who are of a darker skin tone. And so that bothered me for a very long time. And although people would tell me that I was beautiful, I think just the negativity that I heard growing up about my complexion, that's where it all started. So I really had to start with looking in the mirror saying, chocolate girl, you are beautiful.
Okay.
And when I got there, then things started turning around. Once my confidence built up, I started doubting myself less. I started making moves that I wouldn't have made before. So it really started with me believing in me and loving me.
Outstanding,
Yeah.
outstanding. So you went from high school to where?
Yes, I went from high school, and I actually graduated from high school at 17. So I graduated a year early and went into college, which I do not recommend. It was just too much. I was academically ready, but I wasn't ready as far as maturity goes. So, but yes, I went to Benedict College, which is an HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And from there?
And from there, I went to Barry University in Miami, Florida. So I went back. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I went back to my hometown to pursue my master's degree.
Okay. And from there?
Yeah. From there, after pursuing my master's degree, that's how I found out what Macon, Georgia was all about. I moved to Macon after graduating from Barry University, pursuing my master's in social work degree. That's when I came here, and that's when things really started to turn for me.
Well, I'm so glad that's a beautiful story. And I'm glad that we have young ladies in the audience
Yes.
today who can hear that story. You know, I remember when I interviewed one of them last week or the week before, you know, she was afraid she was kind of shy, you know, and not camera shy, but didn't want to talk in front of people, and she learned to come out of that. So it's good to know, and for everybody to
Yes.
know that although you may be depressed, and although you may have haters out there, and although you may be up against some things, you know, you can motivate yourself,
Yes, yes.
you know, to come out of it and be all that you can be. So what are you doing now?
So now I am actually full-time as a business owner. And so people really thought I had lost my mind when I left my position. I was a certified school social worker. I still am a certified school social worker, but I did it full-time. And of course, you know, we have 2 weeks for Christmas, a week for Thanksgiving, the entire summer off, spring break, and good retirement. And so people thought, what in the world are you thinking? Why are you leaving? Well, I knew social work, I could do it in my sleep. But I started to feel like something was missing, like I was supposed to be doing more. And once this book came to be, I started getting requests to speak. And so that kind of turned into a business. And
Okay, which book are you talking?
so this is my first book,
Okay.
Women's Secrets.
Women's Secret.
It's Time to Stop Suffering in Silence. That's the
Okay,
first
now
book.
give me the background of that and give me that story.
So the background of this is a book that I did not want to write. I say I did not want to write it because I was already Dr. Jessica Houston. I was already in a great position, and this book forced me to be open and honest about my struggles. So I grew up in a home where the saying was, what happens in this house stays in this house. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to share this. I talked about some of the things that happened to me, even down to being sexually abused as a kid, my low self-confidence, about the poverty, about my relationship with my biological dad. So there were a lot of things that I talked about in this book that I really did not want to share. But I knew, as you said, you have to be able to share it because there are other people who are dealing with those issues, and it helps them to know that somebody else went through it and they got through it.
Now, does it end up with your having been successful as a result of all of that you had gone through?
Yes, it does. It ends up with me being able to have a business that I can come and go as I please. I can work in my own hours, and I get to travel.
I'm talking about the book.
Yeah, I get to. The book turned into a business.
Okay.
So the book definitely. It's not all about my story, but my story is integrated into each chapter.
Okay.
So I always believe in, whenever you write a book, this is for anybody who aspires to write a book. A lot of people say, you know, I want to just share my story. Well, people don't just want your story. They want to know, how can you help me? Or how does this apply to me?
Right.
So there are always going to be strategies.
Right.
And many people say that
And
this book has actually helped them to get through so many struggles. A lot of healing
Okay.
takes place through that particular book.
Women's Secrets.
Yes.
It's time to stop suffering in silence.
Yes.
Take the first step down a new road.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Okay, so talk about your business. You do training and motivate. Talk a little bit about that before we get into your next book.
Yes. So I do women's empowerment. I travel and I speak at conferences, at organizations, at corporations, and even at government entities. We'll talk about peak performance, leadership, personal development, as well as professional development. But then with me having that social work background, a lot of schools bring me in to talk to their young ladies.
Okay,
Yes.
so I mean, what are some of the topics you deal with, say, in personal development and business development and things of that nature? What do you use as a curriculum?
So, oh gosh, I have so many, because I am a content creator, meaning I love to read, I love to learn, and I love to teach. So I'm always creating, my wheels are always spinning, and one of the things that I get requested to speak on the most is one, Profit from Your Brilliance. That's the business development training that I do. And it's all about profiting from what you have right here in your mind. And so I give them tools and strategies for networking, for marketing, social media, and also just putting their products and services out into the marketplace.
Okay, so how often do you do that?
So I speak about 4 to 6 times per month. Of course, I'm a mom and a wife, so I can't go all the time, but I do try to make sure that I'm at least speaking 4 to 6 times per month, and that is also another revenue stream, but it also helps me to be able to pour back into people, because I feel like that generating money is great, generating wealth is great, but there's nothing like generating wealth, generating money, but enjoying what you do and being passionate about what you do. I've met so many individuals who are in fields that they say, hey, I make a lot of money, but I'm miserable. And so for me, I just enjoy being able to change lives.
And that's phenomenally important. So what about the second book?
Oh, goodness. This one was a long time coming. This is a book that is all about strategy. It's all about strategy. It's called Profitable Conversations. Profitable Conversations, how to position yourself for expansion. And it's anointed. I must use that word.
Oh, okay.
It's anointed.
Well, talk about not without giving it away. Talk about some of the content of the book. You know, some of the topics that are discussed, and the way to take that first step down a new road.
Yes. So I cover, this book is about strategy. So my first book was really about healing and about really getting to a place where you're confident, where you're no longer suppressing some of the pain and difficult situations or trauma that you've experienced. And then this book is more about personal growth, about financial growth, about emotional growth. So one of the chapters that I love is handling disappointment. And it's one of those things that we all encounter, and some people handle it okay. Some people, they just fall apart when they experience rejection, when they go for a contract and they don't get it, or if they present and they get a couple of negative reviews. It crushes them and they just throw in the towel. I'm done, I'm finished. I must not be cut out for this. But what I like to do is show people how they can respond the right way and keep going, keep pressing through despite whatever it is that you're up against.
Okay, let me backtrack a little bit and we get more to that question. So, when did you realize after having, and I really appreciate you sharing your story because it's important. A lot of people, one of the ways that really hurts people is when they have problems and they internalize.
Yes.
And then that affects one psychologically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So at what age did you begin to kind of come out of that? And what do you think contributed? Was it not until you had your daughter?
Yeah, I was in my 30s, and I'm not going to tell you all my age. I know I probably look 30 now. But it took me a long time. Now, I started coming
Plus
out
20.
of it. Yeah, I started coming out of it. I would say I started coming out of it before my daughter, but I was not. I still had really deep-rooted negative thoughts about
This
myself.
is even after you had gotten all the degrees?
Yes, even after that, because we know how to put on a mask.
Yeah.
So in public, that's why I didn't want to write the book. In public, I was happy. Nobody knew I struggled with depression or low self-confidence. So I was still dealing with those things even during the time when I was a professional social worker. I was counseling other people, yet I was dealing with my own wounds.
Yeah. So I understand that you are trying to be like me. Is that right?
Yes.
With a talk show?
Yes.
Who told
I
you-
gotta be like you.
Who told you could do that? I mean, you want your own show now, huh?
Yes.
Well, you want to change seats? You
No, I'm the guest, and again, I am honored. I am
Okay.
honored.
Talk a little bit about-
So my show is titled Profitable Conversations.
Great,
It's
great.
the same as this book, and so Profitable Conversations is not just about profitability financially, but it's spiritually, emotionally, physically, just having the right mindset and being able to position yourself for growth.
Now, where does the conversation come in at? Should you get with somebody to have these conversations? Does it kind of tell you how to delve into this interaction with the conversation?
Yes, and it's conversations between myself and the reader as well.
Oh, so you're
So,
talking to the reader?
Yes, I'm talking to them. I'm very, as you see, I'm very animated. And even when I speak, I'm the same way. So my writing is the same way. So we're going to talk. We're going to have this conversation about manifesting your destiny. We're
Okay.
going to have this conversation about valuing your yes. Another topic I cover is time management. It's important. And it's one of those things that if you want to grow higher, you're going to have to learn how to manage your time. And so that's another piece that I tackle as well.
Well, that's very important. So, I mean, give me the format of Profitable Conversation. Is it going to be, you're going to have different guests, or it's the same person? Or
So
Go
I
ahead.
have a team of individuals. I have a licensed professional counselor, and her name is LaShanna Stevens. So we cover so much. So I have LaShanna, who is a licensed counselor. I have Philip Houston. He actually owns a transportation company.
I know for you.
And then I have Pastor Cynthia Boone. And so I've got several people on the show who are going to give us different views as well. So I tell them all the time, look, it's profitable conversations. So we might not always agree, but we do want to make sure that we're giving value.
So when you just get together and put a topic on the table,
Yes, and we just talk.
and then discuss it.
Yes.
So how often will that come on?
So that show, it will run, I believe, once per week. And the first show was Surviving the Wilderness. That was the first topic, which was it was a powerful show.
Okay, what you mean surviving the wilderness?
Surviving the wilderness is when you reach a point in your life where things get kind of blurry, and it's like you're in a forest and you don't know which direction to go. And we're talking about how do you come out of that. And it's a Christian television show, and a lot of times as Christians we say just pray, but as I always believe, we need strategies as well. And sometimes people don't know how to pray. They don't understand the Bible. So they need someone to, hey, give me a strategy. So what do I do when I don't want to get out of the bed? That's kind of what very practical discussions that people
Yeah.
can utilize. In addition to, of course, prayer.
Okay, now so is there a mechanism for someone to offer a suggestion to you to delve into a profitable conversation that they would like for you to have on your
yes,
show?
I would love that.
I know I'm gonna charge you for that idea later on.
He charges for everything. He charged me for this right.
But is there a way, really, because it's so important, and I'm glad, again, that you shared your story, because, identification is an important element in trying to deal with some things. So if somebody hears your story,
Right.
and then they can identify with it, then that might serve to assist them
Yes.
in getting out of what they are going through. So how could one offer a suggestion to you as it relates to being able to suggest a topic?
Definitely. They can send me an email at drhouston@expectingvictory.com. They can also reach out to me on any of my social media channels. I'm on Facebook under Jessica Houston Enterprises. I'm on LinkedIn under Dr. Jessica Houston, so they can always reach out to me via email or social media.
Okay. Now, are you in the process of writing another book?
Well, I will. I've already said to myself, the third book is coming. But I definitely want to get the message out about profitable conversations. And then the goal is next year to have another book.
Well, how can one get a copy of Profitable Conversation?
So you can go to my website, expectingvictory.com. You can also go to Amazon and purchase a copy via Amazon. And if you go into any bookstore, you can just ask for my book and they will order it for you.
Okay. Okay. Now, so if in fact there are individuals or groups or organizations out there who may be interested in bringing somebody in, for talking or motivational speaking, or what can you do for a group that might feel like that there's a vacuum as it relates to what they are exposed to? See, a lot of people don't realize about the value of resources.
Yes.
There are resources out there that can assist with just about everything. And then as quiet as it's kept, everybody has problems. If you got a group, where everybody in that group has a problem, one way or the other. So if in fact one realizes that there is a resource or some resources out there that can come and assist with those problems, what kind of groups could you go and talk to?
Yeah, so again, I definitely speak to women's groups. I go to churches. I also go to a lot of nonprofit organizations. A lot of times they bring me in because they want me to talk to their leaders, or sometimes they want me to talk to their team and do some team building exercises. A lot of times communication skills is one of the key things. They're saying, hey, we're not communicating the way that we need to be communicating. Can you come in and assist with that? I'm also a certified personal and executive coach. So I do coaching, and then I teach the executives and the leaders how to coach their team as well.
Okay, so you didn't go to school for nothing, huh? That's really, really good. Tell me a little bit about your counseling. What did you find, particularly with young people? Because, we're having some issues, not with these girls here today, but there are a lot of young people, particularly our males, and I know that you are a female and you've got a daughter, but in your counseling and your educational knowledge as it relates to counseling, what are some of the things that you think we ought to be dealing with in the community to help our young people?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes back to them trying to fit in. A lot of times kids, they experience rejection, and what they do is they say, hey, instead of me being bullied or taunted, I'm going to go over to the other side. And so I've seen, even when I worked at certain schools, where they were in gangs, and there were young guys who would come into my office and say, hey, I really don't want to be in this anymore, but once you're in, you're in. And so it all started because some of them weren't getting attention at home. A lot of them, you know, they had parents who were either working all the time or not around, and they just had the freedom to experiment with things that, you know, they should not have been experimenting with. So I think a lot of times we've got to have more male role models, especially for our males, and showing them what does a real man look like. And not just somebody that they see on television, but somebody that they can touch, that they can talk to, that they can call. And there's nothing wrong with being articulate. There's nothing wrong with expressing your emotions. Those were some of the things that I saw some of the males dealing with, and it really led to them going down the wrong path. They just didn't have anybody they felt like they could talk to.
Okay, as I said, a phenomenal lady. And I think from this testimony, from her experiences, from her writing, from her education, that she truly embodies and embraces a phenomenal lady. Talk a little bit about your books again and where they can get them.
Yes, so Women's Secrets, It's Time to Stop Suffering in Silence. This is my first book. This is all about healing. This is all about freedom. And then my second book, which is my latest book, is Profitable Conversations, How to Position Yourself for Expansion. So this book is really written for the person who is a visionary, who is ambitious, who is ready to go to the next level in their life personally as well as professionally.
Oh, that is. So how can one get in touch with you?
So they are welcome to visit my website, expectingvictory.com. There they can find all of my social media tags, and they can also find my email address.
Okay. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Havisham, having interviewed Dr. Jessica McSheck Houston. You know, it is so nice to have had you on. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On your writings, on both of your books. Congratulations on your show, which is called Profitable Conversations. I'm sure we'll be blasting information
Yes, you will.
through the Black Pages to let people know about it. And I really appreciate you. You want to give your final word?
Yes, so I just want to say to somebody who is watching that if you feel like there is more for you, there is more. So go for it. Set aside the doubt, set aside the worrying, and just go for it.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Havisham. Have a profitable conversation.
All right.
www.makingblackpages.com.
This is Alex Havisham, publisher of the new Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages and Resource Guide. The 2019-2020 edition is available in print and online. The new Black Pages featuring young entrepreneurs and professionals. Get
www.makingblackpages.com.